How do you top your love for your cat? With a cascade of decadent savory gravy over a mouth-watering mousse pâté. Fancy Feast gems. 2 gourmet pâtés in one convenient pack. Simply peel and plate to reveal a pyramid shape that makes eating delightful and pamper her with an experience as extraordinary as she is. Turn the everyday into the extraordinary with Fancy Feast gems.
Wish you could become a morning person? You know the type, up before the sun, early morning runs, first one to the office with donuts and a smile. How do they do it? Easy. With the new Galaxy Watch 8, sleep tracking and personalized insights from Samsung Health help you improve so you can wake up to a whole new you. One who, dare I say it, skips the snooze? It's possible. Train your sleep with Galaxy Watch 8. Learn more at Samsung.com. Requires compatible Samsung Galaxy phone, Samsung Health app, and Samsung account.
For a limited time at McDonald's, get a Big Mac extra value meal for $8. That means 2 all-beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on a sesame seed bun, and medium fries, and a drink. We may need to change that jingle.
Prices and participation may vary.
This podcast is supported by FX's English Teacher. Last year's critically acclaimed series returns to follow Evan, Gwen, and Marky as they vie for their students' divided attention. See why Cosmopolitan called its premiere season a masterclass of comedy, while Glamour raved it's the year's funniest and most heartwarming new comedy series. FX's English Teacher, all new Thursdays on FX. All episodes now streaming on Hulu.
This episode is brought to you by Nespresso and Samara Origins by the Weekend Coffee Collection.
Introducing Samara Origins. My collaboration with Nespresso is a connection to my roots, to my mother, Samara. Coffee that hits the right notes. It transports you. Crafted with unique notes and bold, soaring flavors. Experience a taste that moves you. Nespresso and Samara Origins.
Discover more at Nespresso.com.
Chefs, we all grow up with dreams in our heads. And if we're lucky, we get to pursue those dreams. And if we're more fortunate, those dreams come true. And I do want to give a shout out to both of your mothers for raising really strong, determined, wonderful children. Because without that guiding hand, you don't follow those dreams. We've benefited all season long from just a fantastic season of great food. And this is just the beginning. Someone's going to win Top Chef tonight, but both of you are going to go on to having successful businesses and receive much more awards because you're both really just fantastic chefs. But more important than that, you're fantastic people.
Thank you. Kelsey, you are Top Chef.
I'm so happy. Congratulations. Go hug your family.
I just won Top Chef. I think I'm completely in shock. It is so surreal, and literally all I wanted was to make my family proud.
Kelsey, your meal from start to finish was just fantastic. You told your story. You told it on a plate. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Nene, Brandon.
Thank you all so much.
Everybody.
It's Pack Your Knives. I'm Kevin Arnovitz.
And I'm Tom Haberstroh.
Tom, are you a season 16 fan?
I am. We did the preview. We were excited in the preview of this season way back when we found out it was Kentucky. We were actually there for the Restaurant Wars, which was a super big highlight, not for me as just a foodie, but a highlight for me as a person. And then I went back and listened to the first episode. Like after the first episode, we did a recap of the first episode and did the draft for this season, Kevin. And you said it then, which is you can't remember a time where the level of cooking was the level of prep and cuisine was as high as this. Everyone seemed to be on their game. And you know what? I think all season long, the cooking has been super strong. The food has been inventive. It has been like, I can't remember a season where the judges were this positive throughout. And there wasn't that much drama, and I think that's kind of the balance you have to do as a reality show, is try to find the right balance of drama but excellence. And I think this on the spectrum was more towards excellence in terms of the cuisine and less so much of the soap opera.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of character-based cooking and a lot of chefs telling personal stories. Yet it wasn't narrative in the sense that there was a lot of NBA-esque intrigue going on. There's always built-in conflict at Restaurant Wars, and we love that. Although I think we're both of the mind that Restaurant Wars is still better as a 2-team endeavor after 8 contestants are remaining rather than 12. I don't want to speak for you, actually. I don't know if that's true. You might feel that way. You might not.
Yeah, I think I lean that way.
Yeah. But yeah, it was very much an expressive kind of personal story of chefhood, exposing everybody to tradition. Various traditions, be it West African, whether it's Southern food, whether it's Southern Jewish food, whatever it might be. And there weren't a lot of villains. I mean, it was very interesting. And it's just kind of it was a copacetic but not like boring season. And there were big personalities who weren't abrasive. Like Kelsey and Sara and Eric in some ways are kind of the perfect totems for this season, right? Like huge personalities. And I was thinking about like the cutaways to Sara in the finale, and just how incredibly likable and amusing she is. Kelsey the same way. Same with Eric. They were a little trash talk at Rupp Arena. Yeah, we got a little houseboat contrast, but there wasn't a lot of conflict yet. I don't think it was because, they were boring contestants. Like, we weren't watching the San Antonio Spurs locker room here, man. Like, this wasn't like excellence minus, but kind of gray and boring. And this was interesting people who just happened not to be assholes and were cooking great food in an expressive way. So, the finale, man, opens with these individual highlight reels. That was kind of funny, Tom. Like, they sit them down in this theater in Macau and make them watch kind of their tribute films. It kind of reminded me something of the NBA. Like, into the first quarter, here comes the tribute film to your 15 weeks
Dwayne Wade. Let's watch Dwayne Wade's highlight reel. Yeah.
And then we had like screen, like watching Kelsey watch herself and like people say nice things about her. I mean, that's kind of nice. We'll have to ask. We're going to have our finalists on the show shortly. We'll have to ask them about this sort of the freak out of watching your highlight reel, your honor, your tribute film.
I found it kind of like watching your own funeral, right? You have all these nice people say things about you. You're able to watch and listen to all these people say wonderful things about you, and it was like, you know what? I thought it was symbolic that Kelsey, when her video was reeling, Sara was crying. And it kind of was symbolic of this whole season, which is that I feel like they feel for each other and that they're pals and that like they truly have this bond together, that it was like, I can't imagine in years past. You think Stefan is crying when Fabio's highlight reel is going, or Marcel is crying with, it just felt like these particular finalists were as chummy or as connected or as friendly as I can imagine.
Yeah, and they've told us as much, and Kelsey shared that with us as long as Sara in their previous visits to Pack Your Knives. And so I always love the sous chef draft. So the finale is the finale. There's no secret here. They're going to cook a 4-course meal. The only twist, of course, is that we have 3 finalists, and one of them is not going to move past the first course. So like this becomes like the appetizer of all appetizers, right? And this becomes, I mean, truly one of the most pivotal single dishes. In fact, I was thinking about this, Tom, because the finales have traditionally been you do the 4-course meal, and obviously there's great import on each dish, but I don't like a one and done, a do or die, a sudden death dish. I mean, that's enormous,
right? And then the game theory comes into play, right, Kevin?
Well, yeah, because you got the sous chefs, right? And I always love the sous chef draft. What did you think of the sous chef draft? Any surprises? Brandon with the first, with the first choice, crazy knife skills up the wazoo. I mean, what do you make of the? What did it say about our 3 contestants?
Well, Kevin, I told you I re-listened to our first recap, doing the draft. We said some horrible things, and we couched
I
couched it. I said, I do not like this guy. I just straight up said it, and we were saying he's a dick, and he's a villain, and this guy's mansplaining to Adrian how to cook her pasta, whatever it was. This guy's awful. And then if I had told you at that point, Kevin, that in the finale he would not be there, but he would be the number 1 draft pick, we would have been floored. We would not have believed it, right? And here, I think Kelsey drafts Brandon number 1 because of his Asian cuisine knowledge, and then Nene right back. I stand by my pick of Nene. I think I picked her 2nd overall. And man, I think she has so much respect from her peers in this show. And obviously it's taking place in Macau, and she has knowledge there too. And so I think that was interesting to me is Kelsey went number 1 with Brandon. I guess, chemistry. She has great chemistry with him, and that was a shocker for me.
Yeah, I kind of feel like I need to buy Brandon dinner if we go up to Oakland for the finals, because I just feel terrible. Yeah, we were sort of casting him a villain, and not only does he have the immense respect of his teammates, he's clearly just a voice of calm. Nene, I don't recall a contestant in an early eliminee with as much kind of weight as Nene as a chef. I still think in the imagination of anybody who's been watching the shows this season, she is still a central character. And I don't know how the fan voting played out, because I would imagine that when the Bravo fan voting, that generally your longevity in the contest is proportional to your potential to be at the top. I would imagine Nene's a little higher. She might be one of the best early eliminated chefs ever. And again, it's kind of a counterfactual, Tom, is if she just works the line in Restaurant Wars, are we watching a different finale that includes Nene not as sous chef, but as an actual contestant? I maintain that is probably the case. This is one of the great kind of what-if heartbreaks of Top Chef. And maybe, I imagine we're going to see Nene back in some later seasons.
I am with you, Kevin. Let me put it this way. If we redrafted, if there was a season 2 of season 16, and all the characters were back, all the chefs were back, she'd still be a top 4 pick, right? Because I picked her 4th overall, my 2nd pick in the draft. She's right there. I feel like she is as strong a competitor in this thing as anybody, and it's just exemplified by the fact that she was, of the 6 sous chefs to be claimed, she was in there. So I thought that was interesting. Eric obviously going with Justin, that was no surprise, duh. And then Sara going with Eddie. I'm sure. Can you think of a better pairing for Kevin Arnovitz than Sara and Eddie? So that was, and David. I think you really like David too. So that was a Kevin Arnovitz special there. And Michelle gets the 2nd pick from Eric. So I think the biggest surprise there was Kelsey's team, and man, the foreshadowing of Kelsey going with not the risky pick, but the empirical pick of going with Brandon and Nina, who were not the strongest competitors in terms of reaching the final stages. But man, it served her well. We'll get to that.
Well, yeah, we talked about it. So she gets 2 things. She mentions that Brandon's knife skills and just sheer prep work. And then Nene, and there were moments you could see in the prep that, whether it was flavor profile, she relied on Nene's expertise in Asian cuisine. Eric got somebody he just trusts, and Michelle Warrior in the kitchen. And Michelle's a really capable chef. And then Sara went Eddie, who, by the way, it appears really supervised the cooking of her 4th dish, the beef dish, which was in the finale one of her strongest. And so, Eddie really, paid off in that respect. And then David for his knowledge of Portuguese cuisine, which would come into play in the Macau competition. So they each kind of declare their themes of their 4-course. Kelsey's going to do Summers in the South, refined and infused with Macanese accents. Eric's going to do the story of the transatlantic slave trade, through his dishes. And then Sara is going to kind of do the Chinese, Portuguese, Southern. And there was one big decision made early on, and I don't know that we've seen it, Tom. Has there been another finale where a chef just punted on dessert? And will this usher in more willingness to do that?
Oh, you think this is a market inefficiency? This is the next big wave is punting on the dessert dish. I think it was, you know what? we're gonna bring on. So don't quit on us just yet, because we're gonna bring on the three finalists.
Who would quit on
show.
us? Nobody would quit on us.
But
we're
I'm
like,
just,
what, 10 minutes in?
But I feel like you're right. If you are quitting on us at this stage of these,
Yeah, screw you. Yeah. Get a go.
Man, I thought Sara was gonna win. Like with their fourth dish being the steak dish, I really didn't think she was eliminated. It had anything to do with the fact that she didn't do a dessert course. I thought her final course was a strong one, and I don't think by virtue of skipping the dessert was she pegged any lower. Maybe when we asked them.
Oh, I don't think she lost because she didn't do a dessert.
Right.
Yeah,
so
we'll get to that. You want to run through the sort of the appetizer sudden death, because I mean that was a huge moment of this show. I mean, let us not bury one of the leads.
Kevin,
which is our favorite, did not win. I mean, we were talking Eric versus the field as recently as a couple weeks ago, Tom. Eric had one of the best seasons of competition we've seen in this show in 16 years. But he was not in the final two. He went with a jerk tartare with lotus chips up against Kelsey's buttermilk and cornbread was her first dish. Really, I think, kind of risky, Tom.
Mm-hmm.
It is a cold, almost dessert-esque snack of an appetizer. It's so buttermilk and cornbread. It's also in the South called a crumble-in, as in you're going to take that cornbread and crumble it in buttermilk. So they call it a crumble-in.
And you eat it like cereal, which is
right. Cookies and milk. It's cookies and milk, basically, except cornbread being your cookie and buttermilk being the milk. And you know, the first batch of her cornbread is a little salty. She's going to do it as a pour over with some fruit, some diced fruit, some boiled peanuts initially before she makes a revision for day two. Eric, we talked about jerk tartare, and then Sarah's going to come with this kind of Portuguese, another I thought very risky. She does it as a chilled dish, if I'm correct. The chilled Portuguese chili prawns with boiled southern peanuts and an XO sauce, which is sort of a XO is kind of a spicy chili sauce. Does it as a cold dish with a peanut dashi, which I just think is the most brilliant thing I've ever heard. and so those three, really, I just think some fascinating choices there. I mean, basically cornbread and milk, cold dish, cold chili prawn dish, and then Eric's jerk tartare. And Eric, according to the judges, had the weakest of the three by a considerable margin. And it looked as if he had trouble on his lotus chips, which were burnt. And I think he suffered a little bit from Katsuji disease.
I think,
Yeah,
I think you're on there. I think I have a thought here, which is I almost feel like he relied on his sous chefs too much. Because if you watch the film, he asked Justin, "Hey, what do you think about this steak tartare?" And Justin basically says, "Hey man, more jerk seasoning. If this is the finale, this is the fucking finale. You got to go all in, man. Put more jerk. We need more flavor. Punch him in the face with flavor." And then we saw Michelle doing the lotus chips, and I can't remember exactly how she framed it, but it was like she was unsure of the doneness. She kind of felt like it was on the burnt side, and I felt like when they eliminated Eric, that's immediately what I thought of, which is, was this Eric trusting his sous chefs too much?
Yeah, I don't know, and we'll have to ask Eric a little bit. We don't want to rain on the parade of a celebratory season, but I do want to ask about what happened with the lotus chips. And
because that dish sounds so good. I was so into that dish.
That's always sort of a thing, and with beef tartare, which is, on one hand, you want the good flavor, but like I think about like my favorite beef tartare dish is yuko, and I'm probably mispronouncing that, and which is if we ever gone to Korean together, it's the raw meat with the kind of julienne Asian pear and that egg yolk on top, with and there's often sesame and a kind of a yummy sesame oil. And it is my favorite, but like you want to taste the raw meat,
yes,
but you still want the flavor. And I think Tom, clearly that's a thing for Colicchio, right? Like we didn't taste the beef. Like it can't just be this spongy vehicle for goo or spice. And I think that ultimately seemed like what did Eric in along with the burnt lotus chips. But
That was
thought
crushing.
It was crushing. It was really crushing. He had a fascinating narrative to tell, the transatlantic slave trade kind of through, a progressive dinner. He did the finger limes. He had the acid in with the spice, which was really good, and Padma made emphasis of that. The jerk was banging. It was heartbreaking. What was very interesting, and I thought was a fun. It's funny. I kind of love this, and I wish Top Chef can figure out a way to do it more. Is they got to revise their dish for the next day, so they were ultimately judged twice on that dish. The first one determined who would go on to the final, Tom. Mm-hmm. But the second was going to be like, that was kind of, you were actually, for your final, we're going to be judged on your revised version of the dish. And they offered commentary. They offered, Graham and Tom came in and offered pointed suggestions that could be ignored or incorporated.
And I think one of the issues there is, do you take them by their word? Like, do you go and draw up the plate exactly, or do you try to improvise a little bit? Because you want to have your take on their take, and you don't want to be too by the book, but you also want to make sure you're not just following directions, because as a chef, you want to be creative. And I thought, I felt bad for Eric on that. Just to go back real quick, I felt bad for Eric because this reminded me of the dunk competition in the NBA, where do you go with your best dunk first so that you live to see another day? You know what I'm saying? And I felt like in this competition, it's the same sort of thing where you kind of have to keep your best stuff in a back pocket, but you also don't want to go too early, because if you do get past the first round, you don't want to have all your stuff gone, right? And so when they're presented with the idea of doing an advanced or enhanced version of their first dish, it's almost like you don't have to worry about losing your best bullet first. And so they were able to revisit it. And I just feel like Eric, I wanted to see what the rest of that meal looks like, and we don't.
That's the really sad thing, isn't it?
We don't get to see what the rest of that story looks like. But Kelsey and Sara took the direction from Tom and Graham and Padma, and man, did they knock it out of the park.
Yeah, and so Kelsey adds crawfish to sort of her crumble, in which gives it just a degree of protein and kind of just, again, I think weight. And then Sara just needed a little bit of an herbal note, which, by the way, would have also helped her in her failed second dish in the main thing. Like, it often seems like the one critique against Sara is, hey, maybe this could use something a little green, maybe an herbal note to just tie it together. But she incorporated, just some herbs and really elevated it. And so I think it's fair to say, they didn't do kind of a head-to-head with Kelsey and Sara. I think we have to infer that, and here's my theory on the scoring. I mean, Kelsey wins a very close competition against Sara. And, let's just go through the courses really quick. So we got the first course. I think they were like slight edge to Sara, and they were sort of back there handicapping it after judges' table, kind of figuring out while they were waiting on the verdict. Kelsey comes in with the second course that just absolutely wowed the judges and might have been the best course of the day. Another oyster, another oyster.
Can we just do a Top Chef dinner with just all the oyster dishes from this season?
Tom, contra past myths, it is not Top Chef. It is Top Oyster this season. Oyster. So she kind of fills an oyster shell with vichyssoise that was just perfectly pureed and executed. Then the oyster, a little Chinese chives, a pickled green tomato to give it that southern flavor, and then a green straw, kind of a biscuit, a little cheese cracker.
Yes.
And Sara, and so that is her strongest dish. Sara turns in her worst dish. This was, each of the dish finale contestants had a bomb. And Sara bombed with her braised bacon with razor clams, baby corn, and pickled peaches and sweet corn pudding. It was a salt bomb because bacon and that belly in Asia is just sold differently.
I don't know. Can you speak to that? Like, have you? Had that?
Much higher. Like, it's almost like a cured salted. I mean,
it's like anchovy, just like.
Yeah, I mean, it is really, and as a result, it just completely threw her off. Then they kind of dinged her on some saffron that wasn't well placed. I think saffron's well placed in everything, but whatever. And because of the salt and the richness, again, not unlike the initial criticism of her early dish, which was well received. she needed something green, and there's something kind of herbal, and it was it just to cut through it all. I don't know that would have saved her. And in the third course, Kelsey misfired.
Yep.
She, oftentimes you go to a market, you see what you think is fresh seafood. It's often frozen and defrosted. She got soft-shell crabs, which are not native to that part of the world. She deep-fried them, over-fried them with some field peas that weren't well received, and some pea stew. The crab wasn't crispy. It wasn't fresh. Sara comes with what I thought looked like a very nice dish, and by and large was well received. Roast duck with some black-eyed peas and pickled beets.
Sexy duck. A lot of sexy duck. There was
a lot of sexy duck.
Sara called it a sexy duck, and then Nilu said the same thing. It was a very sexy piece of duck.
It looked delicious. She pickled those beets in mustard seeds and white wine vinegar, little dots of tamarind on the plate. It was a beautiful plate, and the duck was perfectly executed. And this is where I think this was it. So each of them had hits. Each of them had a bomb. This was, it seemed like Sara, and I think this will be kind of the question I have, and this is my big note from all my notes from watching last night's finale on Thursday. Could Sara have won this competition if that particular plate? To me, that was the plate that had the margin. I mean, obviously, if she doesn't bomb on the braised bacon, she's fine. But if this dish had had just a couple of more beet quarters on the plate, if there was just one small bright accent, something a little green, as Tom often says, that sort of extra note of fresh that Tom is often asking for in her food, even when he's being complimentary of it. Even a little sauce. Like, is that, because I looked at that competition, like you were shocked, we were shocked, it was so close, and my feeling is this was the possession, the one possession that if you look at, a couple of more additives on this plate, on third course roast duck with black-eyed peas and pickled beets, and Sara might be holding the trophy right now.
See, I was stunned when Sara didn't win, because I felt like her floor, like her bottom of this 4-course meal wasn't nearly as low as Kelsey's. I thought Kelsey's third dish with the crab, she didn't nail her protein. It actually showed some misguidance on getting the protein frozen.
And it wasn't really an entree, was it? I mean, that was the other
and
issue.
She knew it. She knew the whole time. She was like, man, I should have switched it. Like, I didn't really feel this dish. It wasn't my best. I didn't cook it properly. And if I was going to do this dish, do it a little early and bring out the vichyssoise oyster later. And I just thought that was enough. That Sara's her errors or her nitpicks weren't nearly as egregious as Kelsey's. I mean, we're talking slim margins here, and I think you're right that like if there was anything you could point to with Sara's dish, maybe it was this third course that it was good but not great, and maybe that accent, that little more acid or a little bit more greenery, could have vaulted it into winning territory. But man, because this fourth dish by Sara, the steak, I thought I wanted that now. Like, I want to order that like now, like yesterday. Like, as soon as I saw that dish and the execution and they loved it, it was like Haberstro on a plate. It was a steak with the Carolina crispy golden rice, and then you had the mushroom medley. Oh, that was so good. So you have to kind of look at that third plate, Kevin, and say, what more could she have done?
Right. If that goes from a B+, A- to an A, she wins. Yeah, Sara's, it was funny. I thought she was going to win largely because there's a little tune they play, which I call the Happy Dish song. Like do you know, like I think they do it every like once, like, so they have, clearly, Magical Elves has sort of a series of songs, when you hear the music underneath just somebody bringing out a plate, it often portends. And I think there's a song, and you would know it if I played it, and maybe I can maybe we'll do music of Top Chef as a summer episode, Tom. But it was the same tune they played when Michelle brought out her Beatles garden dish. It's like what I call the Happy Dish tune. Yeah. It's a little acoustic, a little strumming guitar, I was like, oh wow, they're crowning Sara right here because they got the Happy Dish song for her ribeye with dirty rice and dried shiitake broth and maitake mushroom confit. Again, a dish I love too.
Inject it into my veins, please.
Right. So my rationale is what I heard the judges say is that Kelsey had the best dish of the night, and that Sara had 2 of the weakest 3. And that now Kelsey's peach cobbler was somewhat polarizing. She did a deconstructed peach cobbler with little cannels and honeysuckle ice cream that some people loved, some people thought was too fragrant, a Szechuan peppercorn whipped cream that maybe not have been peppercorny enough according to some, but others absolutely loved this dish. Love letter to peaches and cream, as Padma said. That was also interesting. I thought what was also dramatic about the finale, Tom, is that I don't recall a final table that was really, Tom was sort of okay with the salt content of the braised bacon, which might have lost Sara the competition, whereas others thought it was almost inedible. So it's a really interesting, and then the same likewise with the dessert on Kelsey's end. The peach cobbler was perfect to some, and others it was like, kind of the honeysuckle was too sweet or whatever it was.
Yeah, I wonder about the group think on the judges' table. Is like if someone comes out and says, "Man, this was a salt bomb, way too salty," how more likely are you gonna like contradict the voice in the room and be like, "Actually, no, I found it to be delicious." And did you notice that Tom Colicchio and I think his name, what was his name? Don Hung, I think is Dan Hung. Dan Hung was just like, he and Tom agreed on everything. Like every time it was like Tom Colicchio nodding vociferously. Like as soon as he said something, Dan did. Like Tom was just yes, absolutely. And the salty thing was they both agreed that the salt was fine. They actually, as Tom said, hams should be salty. So I'm cool with that.
Yeah, and so that was sort of the thing. So it was so close. I wasn't surprised, but I truly don't remember a finale where I just didn't know, because I was doing the tally up in my head. I thought they had a good approximation when they were back there. They said we both bombed our third dish. I think Kelsey obviously bombed it a little worse than Sara, but Sara had a failure on 2, whereas Kelsey nailed her dish of the night. Again, top oyster. Tom, it's I think it's time to bring these folks on. I have a million questions, don't you?
Yep. I can't wait to do this, and I'm so excited to bring them on. We did this last year with Adrian and Joe, and it was just a joy. And the same thing, like we talked about last year with Adrian and Joe, how much they really seemed to respect and enjoy each other's company, and how it was hard to watch them compete for the final, the finale. And I feel like the same way here is we got a lot of the Kelsey and Sara backstory, but also Eric. I'm excited to bring him on too. So why don't we? Oh man. So much to talk about. Let's start dialing them in here. Eric, it's Tom. What's going on, man?
Tom, what's up, man? How are you?
We have Kevin here on the other line.
Kevin, good sir. How are you guys?
I'm excellent. How are you?
Good to hear from you. I'm good.
Oh, man. I'm so upset.
It was a tough one to swallow, man. It was great. When you watch it.
Actually, save it for the show. Save it for the show.
We're already recording.
Hold that thought.
Eric, we're gonna bring in Kelsey and Sara here, and then we'll just dive in head first. How are your Knicks doing, by the way? How are you feeling about your Knicks?
I don't know, man. Did you see? I mean, of course, you guys saw the Dolan thing, but I don't know, man. It's wacky. It's so wacky. I'm just in deep fear of the Brooklyn Nets being the premier team in New York. That's what I just do not want to happen.
Hello.
Hey, Kelsey.
Hi.
Hey, it's Tom. Got Kevin on the line here, and as well as Chef Eric.
What's up, Kels?
Yo.
You sound like are you recovering still? Are you still in party mode? What's the deal?
No, dude. I and threw up all day and night yesterday.
That's exactly the way you should have been. That's exactly what I wanted to hear.
Is that Sara on the line?
I'm here.
Hey,
yes. All right. Well, let's just dive into it, Sara. Thanks for joining us. We've got Kelsey, Eric, Kevin, and myself on the line. Let's go in. Kevin, why don't you take the first question here, or welcome everybody to the show.
Welcome to the show, everybody.
Hey, how are you?
Obviously, all you guys are coming from home. You're going to Macau. You know that if and when you get to the finale, you're going to do a 4-course meal. That's about as tried and true as a Top Chef. That hasn't changed about the show.
Yeah.
When did you start cultivating and planning these menus? Because this didn't come as a surprise. And we'll start with Kelsey. We'll start with you.
And Kelsey, how are you feeling? What's going on? What happened?
I have the freaking flu, y'all.
Oh, man.
This is literally my life. I started out, it's kind of interesting, actually. On day one of filming Top Chef, I was in the hospital getting an IV because I got some kind of bug. And then yesterday, I had to go get a shot. And
That's right.
I got the flu.
Oh,
so someone hates me, I think. I'm going to find out who it is.
Not the judges, Kelsey. Not the judges.
Yeah. I made it through the party last night and then came home and I've been sick. So anyway. Okay, so enough of that. So I didn't honestly had zero idea what I was going to make in Kentucky, and then in between my 2-week break from Kentucky to Macau, I knew I wanted to do summers in the South because that's what was happening in our life, and it's my favorite time to be in the South is during the summer. And I just started writing down my favorite memories, and then I picked my favorite memories that I thought would transcend with food the best, and then started making my dishes. And actually, I talked to Brandon and Nene about my dishes quite a bit, and then some other people as well. So, yeah.
So, Kelsey, you brought your, your great-grandmother's cast iron biscuit, or at least the, how did you come to that decision? What were the rules about what you could bring? Because I was remembering, I can't remember if you were allowed to do that in past years, but I think you were. You're allowed to bring some stuff to the finale. So what kind of rules, Kelsey, did you have, and what went into your decision? I'm curious what everyone else did when you were planning to go to Macau.
Listener, listen up. This is important, okay? I'm going to try to save you some money here. If you're still overpaying for wireless, it's time to say yes to saying no. At Mint Mobile, their favorite word is no. You may think that's bad. No contracts, no monthly bills, no overages, no hidden fees, no BS. Here's why I said yes to making the switch and getting premium wireless for $15 a month. You heard that correctly. $15 per month. Ditch overpriced wireless and the jaw-dropping monthly bills. And of course, there are all these hidden fees and stuff, but at Mint Mobile, plans start at $15 per month. All the plans come with high-speed data, unlimited talk and text. You're not doing weekend and nighttime minutes or anything like that. And it's delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. Use your own phone. Don't have to get a new phone. Use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and bring your phone number along with all of your existing contacts. I switched months ago. People have asked, did you actually switch? Yes, I actually switched months ago. And I don't know what to do with all this extra money. I've cheated the system here. I've rigged something. This is an Ocean's 11 situation where I'm stealing wireless from Mint. That's how good a deal it is. Ready to say yes to saying no? Make the switch at mintmobile.com/dings. That's DINGS. That's mintmobile.com/dings. Upfront payment of $45 required, equivalent to $15 per month. Limited time new customer offer for first 3 months only. Speeds may slow above 35 gigabytes on unlimited plan. Taxes and fees extra. See Mint Mobile for details.
Hello, listener. It's Producer Maze here to talk to you about Quince and their cookware. Cooler nights mean cozy meals at home, and Quince's cookware has made fall cooking so much more enjoyable. Their pieces deliver the quality and performance of luxury brands, but at a price that makes sense. And they look gorgeous on the stovetop, too. No matter what item you need to complete your kitchen, Quince has you covered. With 5-ply stainless steel pots and pans, nonstick skillets, chef-quality knives, and even ceramic bakeware, which is perfect for cozy casseroles or Sunday roasts. And when you look at these prices, you might think, how is Quince doing this? How do they deliver high-quality items similar to high-end brands that are half the price? Well, let me tell you, they partner directly with ethical top-tier factories to cut out the middlemen and pass the savings on to you. And it's not just cookware. I got myself some bath sheets. That's right. When you're a tall man, you have to use bath sheets, not bath towels from Quince. It's like drying off with the cloud. It's incredible. Upgrade your kitchen for cozy fall meals with premium cookware from Quince. Go to quince.com/dings for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/dings, DINGS, to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/dings. Hello, listener. It's producer Maze here to talk to you about Kindred. Now, close your eyes like Owen Wilson during a job interview and imagine a way to travel that feels personal, comfortable, and connected without the price tags and the sterile feelings of hotels or short-term rentals. Now open your eyes and stop using your imagination because Kindred has made it very real. That's exactly what they do. Kindred is a members-only home swapping network. It's not a hotel. It's not a short-term rental. It's a smarter way to travel where each stay feels like home. Here's how it works. With Kindred, your home is your ticket. You earn credits by hosting fellow Kindred members, and then you use those credits to stay in over 220,000 homes in more than 100 cities worldwide. There are no hotel costs or rental fees, just the credits that you've earned. Every stay comes with white glove service, 24/7 trip support, and $100,000 in host protection. Make it easier for you to travel and enjoy yourself and not worry about details. I've used Kindred and I found an amazing home for a weekend getaway in an idyllic location with amazing views and great ambiance. It had everything I needed. And the best part was, it cost me $0. So apply now at livekindred.com and use code DINGS to join for free. Plus, you'll earn 5 nights of travel credit just for signing up. That's right, that's 5 whole nights for free at livekindred, KINDRED.com, code DINGS, DINGS, livekindred.com, code DINGS.
This episode is brought to you by 20th Century Studios' new film, Springsteen, Deliver Me From Nowhere, starring Golden Globe winner Jeremy Allen White and Academy Award nominee Jeremy Strong. Scott Cooper, the director of the Academy Award-winning movie Crazy Heart, brings you the story of the most pivotal chapter in the life of an icon, Springsteen, Deliver Me From Nowhere. Only in theaters October 24th. Get your tickets now.
The family that vacations together stays together. At least, that was the plan. Except now, the dastardly desk clerk is saying he can't confirm your connecting rooms.
Wait, what?
That's right, ma'am. You have rooms 201 and 709.
No, we cannot be 5 floors away from our kids.
The doors have double locks. They'll be fine.
When you want connecting rooms confirmed before you arrive, it matters where you stay.
Welcome to Hilton. I see your connecting rooms are already confirmed.
Hilton, for the stay.
What, rules?
Well, like, you were allowed to bring stuff or recipes?
Like, you brought a bunch of cookware to Macau, you crazy person. Like, you brought cornbread, like, things.
I got smart with this game called Top Chef, where I was like, hey, y'all got to pay for this luggage? Shucks for y'all. I'm going to pack 17 cast iron skillets. Now, I knew I wanted to do that buttermilk and cornbread dish, and my great-grandmother has these, like, corn-shaped skillets. I mean, they're shaped like little corn on the cob, which is such a classic Southern thing. So.
They were great. I mean, by the way, that's called a crumble-in, right? Kelsey, like, I've heard, is that called a crumble-in? I've heard it called a crumble-in. As in, you crumble in the cornbread with the milk.
Yeah, I've heard that. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was a crumble-in.
Yeah, that's what this one kind of was.
Oh.
And Sarah, you brought the Carolina Gold rice.
Yes, I brought, until the finale aired, I totally forgot I brought that. I brought some Carolina Gold rice, a couple big chunks of ham, and I think some sorghum, and I really didn't bring that much.
You brought ham?
I brought like...
Did you have to declare the ham?
Pieces. Well, I actually was really worried because a lot of other places won't let you bring American ham into their area. American ham has way more moisture left in it than like Spanish or Italian, and so they don't allow it in. And then also it's not pre-cooked; it's just cured ham. So, so I was really worried about getting caught. So I barely brought anything because I was like, I have to have this ham. What will I do? So I didn't bring much.
Eric, did you bring any West African stuff?
I did,
like
yeah.
Palm oil or?
I brought some African red beans. I brought palm wine. I brought a couple of bottles of that. Sorghum leaves and spices, a bunch of spices.
I came with 2 dishes prepared. Like I came with, and then, you know, when I was watching the finale last night, I was like, well, shit, maybe I should come with 4 dishes prepared, because I had the chili prawns and I had the steak dish, and I was like, I know I'm going to do those.
And not a coincidence,
so,
your 2 best dishes, right?
Yeah, so maybe I should have, you know, don't shoot from the hip so much next time I'm in the finale for Top Chef.
Hey, I wanted to ask all of you, because that first sudden death, I mean, we were just talking about how crazy it is. That, like, look, every dish has import on Top Chef, especially if you get late in the competition, but I don't recall, like, a single appetizer is going to determine, like the entire course of the
It's
finale.
like a playing game in basketball. Like,
It's like sudden death. Yeah. And what's interesting about it is, by virtue of the fact that it's the first course, it's not your big course, right? Like, it's not your entree. And Kelsey and Sara, you guys went with chilled dishes. Am I correct there? I mean, you know, there's actually an element of risk. I was thinking about yours, Kelsey. Like yours could be called a snack. And it's like, wow, she's going to put everything in cornbread and buttermilk. And Sarah's going to do a chilled dish. And it just, like, did you guys know, I mean, when the magnitude of that decision, what was the game theory behind, wow, do I go with something bigger or something a little more conventional? Like what? Because that's a huge strategic plan, right?
I think I can speak a little bit on it because I think obviously I was the one that was impacted by it the most. There was a lot of thought, I think, on all 3 of our parts behind that first course. And how important it is to kind of intro the rest of the 3 if you were allowed to do so. So it's tough because, you know, you want to go ahead and impart so much of your flavors and be bold, you know, and I think all 3 of us did that. But like you said, man, once you've reached that certain point, it's 3 people and, you know, one of them's going to go home. So it just kind of, the ball just felt like that.
There was a whole story to my first dish that they didn't put in editing, that I thought, I was like, man, I was so excited for people to hear that story.
Tell us.
Tell us. That's why we have a podcast.
Yes.
Did you ever have goober grape when you were growing up?
With the spoonful. Just don't even give me the.
Yeah.
Why 2 jars when you can have 1?
Yeah.
It's actually the most innovative processed food item ever invented by America.
So we go to South Carolina, and we get boiled peanuts on the way, and then we get a whole bunch of shrimp as soon as we got there to, like, cook. And then my mother would never let us have peanut butter and jelly because we were only going to be there for like a week. We were never going to eat it all, so we had goober grape. So my dish was it was like a peanut butter and white grape, it was a peanut and white grape juice dashi. And then I had like raw peeled grapes in there with the peanuts. And so it was like this whole memory of a trip that went out. But I'm guessing that goober grape got edited because of like trademarking reasons.
I was just going to say, I bet it had something to do with the rights of, you know, you can't say, hey, this is an homage to Gatorade, right?
Yeah, right.
So you guys can't even say like the word Twinkie?
Nah, I mean, even when we were doing exactly right. When we were doing the boat party at Cumberland, we had to call it jiggle juice because of the trademarking. So, you know, there's different ways that they were clever around it. But Kevin, I actually wanted to go back to the point that you had made earlier about like what we were able to use and bring and such like that. Like, I don't know, ladies, if you remember, like we had to select our knives immediately right after like the last challenge in Kentucky to send to Macau. So we were kind of on the scramble when we were deciding what to bring and what not. But when we got back home for the 2 weeks is when, you know, like Kelsey said, I started developing my menu and trying to figure out what I wanted to use. The issue I had, though, is I ran through so many revisions because there were a lot of things that they couldn't find. And you know, I couldn't get them on the fly. You know what I mean? So it was really cool to hear, like, from their perspectives. I didn't know that. It's cool to
get, something like crazy that I attacked, like hardcore crazy.
What's that?
I bought a buttermilk churner in the event that I could not. I was gonna freaking make buttermilk out of butter.
That's
I had
a beast.
a churner.
That's a beast. That's a beast.
That's how badly you want to do this dish, is that you had a way to do it from scratch? Well,
it's not only that. I put buttermilk in like everything. My dessert had buttermilk in it. My crab had buttermilk that you dipped it in. I was like, I am literally screwed if I can't get buttermilk in here. And we had to turn in our our list of we basically had to decide on our finale meal 2 days after we got back from
That's
Kentucky.
what I'm saying. Yeah, it was quick. It was very quick.
It was
it was really quick.
oh my God, we didn't have 2 weeks at all. We had 2 days from wrapping Kentucky till, because they were like, you've got 2 days to give us your ingredient list for your finale meal. And we thought, okay, this is going to be like loose, we'll be able to add to. No, it was like super. It ended up being like Bible. This is what you've got to make your meal with, and anything else you can find at the markets. But like, there's no dairy products in their markets.
And did you know that going into it, that you had like there were certain things that were blind spots, like you couldn't get at the market?
So they told us a couple of things. Sorry, Kelsey, if I may. They told us a couple of things. Yeah, they told us a couple of things, and then we knew also that Graham had a restaurant in Macau, and Sarah has a really great story about that because she went ahead and did like recon work, and okay, if he's getting his stuff from here, that means I can pretty much get my stuff from here too.
Yeah,
wait, Sarah.
So I looked at the menus of all of the restaurants that we knew where we were staying. And I got on. I'm like a homeworky nerd. Like I like to research stuff. I mean, that's what I went to college for. I was going to be a rat researcher. I thought that was the coolest job ever. I love research. And so I looked at all the menus that everyone else had. And when they told Kelsey and I we couldn't get buttermilk, I was like, no. I was like, Graham has buttermilk on his menu. You need to find out where they get it.
Exactly.
And we need that buttermilk. And then I picked, I requested the duck and, these like 179 prime dry age sirloins because I knew that there was this amazing steak restaurant there that was doing like all dry aged beef. And, and I wanted like Peking style ducks and stuff like that. I knew those were items that they could source within the hotel for me. So I wasn't going to let them argue with me and tell me they couldn't get it because I was going to be like, oh no, I know you can.
So Eric, I do want to ask about the dish and what went wrong in your estimation. And I also want to give you a chance after that. I want to hear your menu. Like one of the great heartbreaks as a viewer.
Disagree with
because one of the great heartbreaks just as a viewer was I didn't get to see that narrative play out. But let's talk about that first dish. Like what went wrong?
I think what went wrong was, gathering from what the judges said, it was just over seasoned, and the lotus chips was another hit as well. The lotus chips were, Graham had there was this cut where Graham picked 2 of them up, and one was kind of inconsistent than the other. So, they made a cut in the edits to Michelle and her talking about it, but I saw everything that left out of that kitchen. Okay. We all did, you know what I mean? So I was satisfied. I was happy with what the direction was going, and I really thought it was going to something to bring it home. My 4-course meal, man, it was we got these beautiful mantis shrimp, and we were ready to use that for the second course with this yassa. So I was going to do like an onion jam. So I had Justin working on that, and then we were doing, I think,
after you got eliminated, I was like, "Can I have this shrimp?"
The third course was going to be a duo between scallop and a goat. I had some goat. That was my another pick that I got from the hotel. So we had some goat that I was going to braise, and kind of make like a short rib style and press it with some tamarind glaze on it. And then my last course is where I was going to use the palm wine. I was going to do an ice cream or sorbet with that, with some lavender notes and stuff like that. So really trying to, again, just highlight that slave trade and the story that it tells, beautifully through an unfortunate story. But yeah, man, it was something I really had in mind to do, and I was excited about it.
Shit, man. So Eric, that the narrative, the story, your whole story arc this season was really paying tribute to your heritage, your ancestors, and basically I felt like that was your through line throughout the whole season. And you getting kicked off, it was a huge bummer. Like Twitter, I did a hashtag or a search for hashtag Top Chef, and they were fucking mourning on Twitter. Not that like Sarah and Kelsey, you guys were chopped liver, but it was just like people were super invested in your story and wanted to see you continue. But it was almost like it was refreshing in some sense that each dish is judged on its own merits. And I felt like if the judges said, you know what, Eric had a pretty poor dish here, but you know what, he's been so strong this season, let's keep him going. That would have been, it would have been a hit to the integrity of the show. So I appreciate that on some level, but I wonder, and you don't have to throw your teammates under the bus here, but it felt like Justin was encouraging you to season more, and then it seemed like from the editing that Michelle knew that the crisps were too crispy and they were burnt. So how much of the editing on the dishes were on your hands, or you felt like, man, I can't go back, this is too seasoned?
Yeah, I mean, we're under the time too. Like, we're under the gun. Pat called for 5 minutes. We're seasoning. Like, I wanted to make sure that everything was done like to the minute. So we're kind of like behind the gun, and it was too late to reseason at that point. So
did you think it was over seasoned?
The first time I tried it, I thought it was good. I thought it was money, to be honest. And I had Justin go with it. The reason why I had Justin try it was because my palate was just like blown at that point. Like, I tried it so many times. So I had Justin try it, and he's like, yo, like, one more hit. And I was like, all right, cool. So I did it, and I trust Justin. I trust his judgment. He's an excellent chef. But when we plated it, and then the chips as well was another issue. So, I mean, again, everything that left, maybe if I had an extra, 5 minutes, I would have readjusted or so. But that would be taking away from what Sara, and Kelsey did as well. We all had the same amount of time. And they just executed a little bit better. And I think it showed. And, so I'm not, terribly upset about it. I fought my way through with like you guys mentioned, a really great storyline, and I'm proud of the food that I cooked, and the position that I placed. Like, third place is not shabby, not too shabby. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Go ahead, Kevin.
Sara, so you had a big decision to make, which is, and I really love you for this, largely because when I love going to get tasting menus at restaurants, and I just am somebody who tries to avoid dessert. Let's put it this way, I would always take the extra savory course over the dessert. And you did something unorthodox, which is you just basically said, screw it. Like, I'm not going to be Kelsey, who's the best pastry chef in the competition. You had more to say in terms of savory, and you just said, fuck it. Like, we're going to go, like, screw dessert. And I, by the way, to the extent that if there's a reason you finished second, I don't get the sense that was the reason at all. But it was a big decision.
Yeah, I think that, like, this is a competition. You gotta play to your strengths. And pastry, at my restaurant, my mother makes all of the desserts fresh every day. I mean, I can help do all of them. And I had a pastry dessert. I had a dessert that I was going to do if they told me.
Yeah, what was in your back pocket there? What was in there?
So it was a black garlic chocolate buttermilk chess pie. Oh. So again, we needed that buttermilk. And that was one that I had practiced before. And when I got over there, I thought, it'll be no problem finding, vegetable shortening or Crisco or whatever. And that was like not a thing I found in the groceries. And my pie dough consists of Crisco, lard, and butter. So, you got to keep it, you got to be true to the fats there. And so I just thought, I'm not going to try to force this. I have asked for enough meats, like I'm ready to go. And I have, it's just not my strength. So I'm not going to do it. But we run that pie since then, and it's delicious. Black garlic and chocolate are beautiful together.
So I want to know, how do you guys keep a straight face when one of your pals gets voted off? You're secretly cheering in your head, right?
I mean, cheering for yourself. No.
Because Eric is like, man, Eric has been such a strong competitor, and he gets voted off, and you're like, oh my God, I'm so sorry, Eric, but also, yay, it's not me.
I think you have to be gracious. Like, Kelsey and I were excited when we were standing in front of the judges, and I actually thought about that last night when I was watching it. We were excited, we were happy, but we were excited because we were continuing on, not because Eric left. You kind of see us run to those back doors, and the moment we got inside those doors, we stopped and looked at each other and said, okay, that's it. Yeah. And we wiped the smiles off our faces, and we walked in because we were not happy to see Eric leave. Yeah, we were just happy because we got to continue on. We were like, we're not going to walk into this kitchen celebrating with our sous chefs that we're going to the finale. And to be frank, it was like, do you really want to know what I was thinking? They're like, okay, Eric, you're not going to continue on. And I was like, holy shit, I've got so much to do still. Because I was only thinking about the first dish. I was like, I've got so much prep.
Yeah, there's we had the opportunity to go back because as the judges were deliberating, we're still cooking as if, we don't know what's happening. So we're going a mile a minute. So Justin and Michelle are asking me like, oh, how well do you think I did? And I'm like, I think they liked it. I hope they liked it. But just like Kelsey said, like we have nothing to we got to keep going. Like there's more food to cook, and that's exactly what happened. Kelsey and Sara both came in. And when it was all said and done, like we had a moment, and I wish they kind of showed it. We had a moment with each other where I told them it's definitely going to be a Southern woman that's going to win Top Chef this season. So good luck to the both of you. But it was cool, man. And then go ahead. Sorry.
So Kelsey, couple things real quick. One is I received a box of puppy chow yesterday at my.
It's called crack.
What is the official name? I mean, is there a what do I want to call it?
It's called key lime crack. You also can't say crack on Top Chef.
You can't say crack? And no matter what the connotation, whether it's anatomical?
It's a Jello shot. Apparently you can't say goober, grape.
You can't say crack. Well, so, I don't know where I got the puppy chow from. I prefer your name. But it was delicious. It ruined an otherwise really disciplined day for me as I ward off playoff weight, which is coming. And I just want to thank you for that. The other thing I want to ask you about is it seems as if the top of the 9 dishes we saw, one of the disadvantages we don't get to taste, but your oyster, your vichyssoise oyster with Chinese chives and pickled green tomatoes was, in the estimation of some, the best thing they've eaten this year. I want to hear about this dish and its execution. Because this won you the competition, arguably.
Yeah, probably. I mean, I don't know, but I love that dish for sure. It was, I knew I wanted to do an oyster on my finale meal because it had just kind of become, I love them so much. And, so I really wanted this dish to be very much like show my French background and, techniques and all that, but also very Southern. So it was vichyssoise, caviar, pickled green tomato, and a cheese straw. So it was super simple, truthfully, but I would say it was executed perfectly. So that's really all that mattered. And I think I did a warm vichyssoise, but a cold oyster, which kind of confused people. And I think that's what they probably liked the most, is it was kind of confusing.
So the contrast, because that's interesting. I just assumed it was a chilled vichyssoise. That's interesting. So it was kind of a cup of soup with this lovely chilled kind of little jewel in the box.
Yeah, and so what you do is when you pour that boiling vichyssoise over the oyster, it cooks the outside only. So right when you're eating it, you feel like you're about to eat a cooked oyster, and it's going to be chewy, but then you get that velvet inside of a raw oyster. So it's really a cool way to do it.
Well, by the way, your second big oyster win, your Alabama style oysters with watermelon rind was a winner. And then, Eric, you had the initial. This was season of oyster.
The Top Chef oyster and buttermilk is what I'm calling it.
Yeah. A lot of oyster wins.
Can't go wrong with oyster.
Sara, we had you on earlier on this show, and I asked Kevin about the "Wherever You Go, There's Always Someone Jewish" song. And I didn't know anything about it. And then I asked people on Twitter last night, hey, we're going to have the finalists on the show. Any questions you have? And at Andrew Emmer says, I need to know where Sara knows the "Wherever You Go, There's Always Someone Jewish" song from. Did she go to Jewish summer camp, and which one?
I did. So I'm here in Paducah, Kentucky, and there's not a ton of Jews, which you guys covered those stats one time, and I loved. But there is a Jewish summer camp that is in southern Illinois, so maybe 45 minutes from my hometown, called Camp Ben Frankel. It's been around for
that's where all the St. Louis kids go.
Yep, all the St. Louis.
I know all the St. Louis Jews who go. Yeah.
What?
Yeah,
it's every metropolitan area has their Jewish summer camp.
70 miles away. And yeah, it's just like this thing.
Yep, that's it. There was all the St. Louis kids, southeastern Missouri, southern Illinois, western Kentucky. That's where we all went. Yeah, and so we learned that song. And the coolest part was the rabbi who was like the cantor who wrote this song. He like wrote me this big message on Facebook, like thanking for the shout out, how it was so cool when he saw his song on Top Chef. It was like it was pretty surreal. Yeah. But I think my mother and I actually sang the whole song. They just only put the short little edit. Yeah.
Can you give us a little rendition here for Pack Your Knives?
No. Yeah. And the best part is it has a waffle line in it too. They say, waffles, falafels, and hamburger buns. It's like wherever you go, there's always someone Jewish. Yeah, it's a perfect song. You're never alone when you say you're Jew.
That's amazing. Thank you for giving us that. I know it's hard. You do have a beautiful singing voice, though, so don't hold back next time.
Yeah.
So I don't know how to ask this question. Sara, I thought you were going to win. Did you think you were going to win in that moment? You're staring down at the judges' table. I know, Kelsey, you're right here, and Eric, you're right here. But I'd imagine this is like basketball, where everyone in the finals thinks they're going to win. Was there a moment when you walked out that you were reading their faces, that you saw, wait a minute, they're not looking at me as much as they're looking at Kelsey? Or were you reading into it, and did you feel like, wait a minute, I may not have won this? Was there a moment before you found out that you checked yourself and thought, oh, wait, maybe I'm not the top chef? And what is that moment like when you're staring and you're finding out your judgment?
You do realize they're like professionals of this.
Oh, yeah, they're like, don't
not
give anything away.
Yeah, they're really good.
So
it was strange. Kelsey and I talked about it. I think there's a lot of judging that goes on and a lot of discussion that goes on that you don't see on the show, obviously. I think I had first course. Kelsey had second course. I don't think that either of us got third. I think fourth was,
I think you thought you won fourth. Let's just say, I think you thought you won fourth.
I thought I won fourth too. But
I think didn't you? We got the sense that your third, the duck was just missing a bow on top, but that it was definitely you won third or you didn't lose it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess but then again, I got my ass spanked on second. Like, it was horrible. That pork belly dish was just dreadful. So, I didn't really know, but I will say, it's one of those moments where you're standing there and it's just surreal, because standing there with someone that I respect and I care about, and I'm thinking, if I don't win, I don't want anybody else to win but this chick. Like, that's it. Like, it's probably, Eric, I hate to say it, but if I'd been standing there next to you, I would have been like, I really want to win this. We didn't have much history. We didn't have much history together, before the show. But Kelsey and I go back, and so I wasn't sure. We came out. Our husbands, our moms were there. Everybody's kind of standing around. You just never know. You never know. Like, there was times when I thought I was for sure going home, and then I didn't go home. So, there was times when I thought maybe I'll win this, and then I didn't win it. But I had a super strong team, and I was proud of what I did.
Kelsey, congratulations on winning Top Chef. We've gone too far into this show without us saying congratulations, even though you feel like shit. We got to see like maybe a line of it on the show from the judges table of why you won. But what was the overall conversation like at the judges table about why Kelsey Barnard Clark won Top Chef?
I mean, like I said, y'all, they don't tell you that. I mean, they don't really give you this insight into why you won versus someone else. I think that's the beauty of the show. I don't think I've ever watched a finale and been like, well, she's definitely winning or he's definitely winning. I mean, you hope that when you get to that point, it is so hard for them to decide. That's what I would hope it would be like. That we're all so good that they're like, oh my God, we are really nitpicking this. We are really going to have to basically Eric got sent home on the first round because a lotus chip, for God's sakes. Like, this is what we're talking about at this point.
And you know what?
So
if you're going to go out on an over seasoning, good for you, Eric, because no one wants to go. It's like missing a putt short. You never want to go short. You always want to go over.
Yeah, I just.
But you see what I'm saying? Like, I mean, it was. I think as viewers, people don't understand how freaking nitpicky this gets down to. Like, these dishes are delicious, and in any other setting, you'd be like, "God, that's really good."
Yeah.
But they're looking for anything wrong, and I don't know why. I mean, I have no idea. They don't really, I don't really talk to Padma and Nilu and Tom on the phone regularly, so they didn't really give me much insight.
So it really was that line. Like, I think
Tom
Tom just said from start to finish, it was just a bit stronger. Like, that was all you got.
I mean, I guess. Like,
yeah.
They need columnists on press row explaining it, Tom.
Yes, yeah. Like, it was an incredible final season or final episode to a great season. I kind of feel like you guys were excelling from day one. That there weren't any there weren't egregious miscues all season. There wasn't that much drama, and some people kind of felt like this season was not soap opera-y enough, and like they kind of felt like you guys were too good almost and too friendly. And I feel like that's like, okay,
right.
I guess that's a feature for some people and a bug. But did you get the sense that you guys were performing as well as the judges were saying on the show? Like, we kind of felt like this was a ridiculously strong season.
I think
I think so. I think we also we were extremely competitive. I mean, we had a bunch of compassion for each other, but we were also competitive, and you can also be both. You know what I mean? I think people forget that you can be a good person and also want to beat the next person at it. And I think we all equally share that. And I mean, Top Chef and Bravo did a great job with the casting as well, but we all had a high amount of integrity for each other.
Yeah. I want to ask you guys, I mean, and Kelsey, I'll start with you for obvious reasons. It sounds like a venal question and a little bit like cheesy, but look, it's a great honor. You guys learned a lot. It was this growth experience. You got to do something cool. But at the end of the day, they're going to start season 17 soon. And one of the great ancillary benefits of being on this show and going as far as you did, and particularly you, Kelsey, is you get to parlay it into this can help your career, right? It can give you entrees and opportunities that you might not otherwise, whether it's investors or access to capital or whatever. I mean, is that true? Are there material benefits? Like how do you parlay this without it being kind of this kind of manipulative, overly ambitious thing? Like how do you parlay this into making your career better or bettering your prospects for success or anything else? Or do you?
I mean, yeah, for sure. I think that you have a title behind your name now, wherever you go. So there's that. And then you've got like the ultimate resume lister. Like,
is it the ultimate resume lister? That's the question I always have. Like in the chef world, and when you talked, I mean, is it just like I won Top Chef? It's just like I won the NBA Finals. Like I'm an MVP.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's like a mic drop thing. Like, oh, okay, well, I mean, because obviously, if you made it to top 3 and you made it to the finale of Top Chef, like, you can cook and you're smart. I mean, it's pretty much all you would need to know about a person if they had that on their resume. But more than that, I think that you also, specifically with the three of us, we were on TV for 3 weeks and we had a personality. And so there's opportunities for that too. Just people wanting you to do judging and speaking and things like that, and hopefully get paid to do advertising. Just all sorts of things like that is really the goal, is to get asked to do things like that where you can be recognized and make money.
Sara, what are you where are you in your pregnancy? And I feel like you're about to pop. Are you feeling like you need to take a rest?
Well, I'm well into my 3rd trimester. I think I'm going to have to. I think my mother and husband are going to make me. But I'm going to do what I have to do, and then when I come back, I kind of feel the same way as Kelsey. Like, I mean, shameless plug here. I killed that Kentucky Fried Chicken challenge. Like, I would love to be on one of those smart-ass Kentucky Fried Chicken commercials. Like, that would be great for me, because I have this like kind of greedy flavor. like sense of humor, and I like digging on those commercials. Like I totally do that, you know. Like I'm not gonna sell it out. I want to be on a KFC commercial though. You know, but you gotta. I think you have to look at that. And you know, what do I do with that money? I improve my restaurant. Put more money into my community, and I improve the livelihood of the people that work for me. You know, so you can really look at it, and I think that's. You know, I don't know. I can't speak directly for Eric, but I know Kelsey and I have talked about it at length. That you know, we have these small town communities, and we're going to really use our places in the show to you know, to help push those along, help improve those areas. So, you know.
Yeah. Are you going to continue? Like, what does the next chapter look like? We have a question here from @Clunky. That's a weird way to CLUNKEY. What are the chefs' plans for their restaurants? Are they going to expand the existing places or open additional ones? Kelsey, we'll start for you, real quick with you. What are your plans? The next chapter, as Kevin Durant would say, the next chapter of Kelsey, Sara, and Eric.
We're about to renovate my restaurant pretty heavily, so that's, you know, we've been talking about that for a while. I'm excited to get that started. And you know, after that, I don't know. I'm just going to try to keep my options very open and say yes more than I say no.
Sara?
My dream is to open like badass new Southern meat and three. If you don't know what a meat and three is, you guys should look it up and learn. It's one of the best styles of restaurant, I think. Yeah, I mean, that's, you know, I want more. I don't want just Fright House, and I don't want just Run Up on Top Chef. I do want more. So, yeah, hopefully there's another restaurant in the works.
Yeah, same thing. Saying yes to everything and saying yes to a lot more than no, and expanding on the restaurant. Definitely have my eyes on a brick and mortar, and it's been interesting just the amount of support and interest have been coming my way about just like West African food and the greater diaspora. So just expanding on that and really taking advantage of the opportunities that come through that channel as well.
Kevin, do you have any final thoughts?
No,
here?
I know there are participants who need to go. So I don't want to. This has just been an absolute treat. I mean, more than anything, thank you guys for supporting our little thing here. Just with multiple appearances, and this was a blast of a season. And also, I just think, Sara, you'll be pleased to know that like I took a screen capture of your plating on your duck dish last night, just like for ideas. And Kelsey, like I'm determined to make this spring when the stone fruit come out. I'm going to make your I'm going to seep some cherries and make your consommé. And Eric, I am all over your jollof rice tips. So like, y'all are awesome contestants, and you're awesome sort of Yodas, because I will be channeling something from each of you in my coming year of cooking. So that's the other cool thing for me.
Thank you guys for having us, and it's been a blast listening to you guys all throughout the season. So it's pretty cool to kind of do this again.
Yeah, you guys kill it, man. This is like we all. This
we're
is the
fans.
first podcast we heard about from Top Chef. Yeah, we're huge fans. You guys just absolutely kill it.
Well, you know what? I'll just say it here. Kelsey, you're the best. You won me the fantasy league this year. So thank you. With the 50...
what was the final score?
Well, Kevin, can I tell it? You okay
certainly.
With that in front of the chefs? Okay. 171 to 163. The 50-point bonus is heavily controversial, but a 50-point bonus for picking the Top Chef winner. And Kelsey, you were my ride or die from the beginning, and you came through big time. So that final win was huge. So thank you so much. And I want to, as a parting gift, I'll just say, I researched the restaurant cities, or where the past Top Chef winners hailed from. And their names like Chicago, LA, Miami, Philadelphia, Boston, Atlanta, Las Vegas, New York, Dothan, Alabama.
There
Congratulations.
It is.
65,000 population is the home of Top Chef 16. Congratulations.
Congratulations, Kels.
Congrats, girlie.
So, Tom, just in closing, we want to conclude the season. It was really an interesting season. And I think, in talking about Kelsey, who is Top Chef 16, we talked about that sort of, we talk about basketball IQ and Top Chef IQ. I don't recall a contestant with a greater intuition and instinct for what the challenge is. I mean, obviously, you can cook her ass off, but there's always, and we talk about gamesmanship as game theory, but I also think it's more than just game theory. It's just knowing intuitively because eating is not just a plate of food, right? There's a context for everything. And a houseboat food is different than, a fine tasting menu food, which is different than a canapé, which is different than what you want to eat at an arena. And I don't know a contestant in recent memory who has a better feel for situational cooking than Kelsey Bernard Clark. And it won her this competition. I mean, we talked about the parity among the chefs, Tom. That there were just any number of people could have won, and we can go way. I mean, we talk about Nene, we talk about Eddie. Eddie still might be the best technical chef in the show. I mean, Michelle probably had 2 of the 5 best plates of food. I mean, Eric won more than anybody, but Kelsey has this special sort of, in terms of just handicapping competition. She has that basketball IQ, that kitchen IQ on this specific show.
Kelsey just, from start to finish, I think we're proving the doubters wrong, and that this Southern Belle Kel, that she didn't have what it takes to be the Top Chef winner, but she proved it. And she, I don't think she won a single quickfire on the show this season. If I have that correct, I don't think she did. And maybe came in through the biggest quickfire. It wasn't technically a quickfire, but in that final episode, she elevated very simple dishes in ways that I don't think any chef on Top Chef has done. And I thought she had an amazing season. I was very thankful that she was on my team, but I will say this. I honestly, and I told her this, I thought Sara won this competition. I really did. I thought she had in my heart, probably in my heart, I thought she deserved to win. But I don't get to taste it. I don't get to taste it.
That's the thing. And this will be the one, and we did get to taste. I mean, that was the thrill for our season. My personal highlights, I'm sure yours, is actually being on the show. And really not so much being on the show, but being present for an actual tasting. I mean, you can watch this show as you and I have for 16 years. You never actually get to taste the food. It's the one, it's not a critique because there's nothing they can do. We don't have the technology to stick our tongues to the screen and actually sample this food. Though that would be actually really cool in future generations. But we just don't know, right? Like, we'll never be able to taste that California gold rice. We'll never be able to taste that vichyssoise, that hot vichyssoise with the cool oyster, with just the exterior cooking.
I guess this is where we say, Kevin, the production team continues to hit home runs, because I was guessing from the very beginning to the very end, I didn't have a good handle on who was going to win, and still in the last moment. There were no tells. I don't know how they do this, and I guess we should have congratulated the chefs for finally getting to this point. Now they can actually talk about this season and who won Top Chef. But man, the production value of the show was expert. I mean, I didn't feel like they were. I was surprised every step of the way. And let's give a shout out to Sara, just in terms of the first 6 episodes. She had 8 points in our system. She was 10th highest in our system. Kevin, what a second half for her. And you, I knew you were rooting for her as the Paducah Jew, but man, she really came strong at the end.
Yeah, and again, she kind of is we've seen contestants like this in Adrian last season, where the growth over the course of a season as a contestant is profound, and we see sort of most improved player over the course of the season, and I always love that journey, which is, I didn't have Sara anyway. I mean, I did not have her handicapped as a top 2 or 3 contestant at the end, but just continued to refine and I think started cooking with more confidence too. And I think there is that, and she's talked about it, and I absolutely buy in to the idea that being the local chef, whether there's a sense of imposter syndrome, or hey, you're on here because you've got the right postal code, but no, you just start sort of just staying true to your game and elevating. Adrian last year was one of my favorite contestants for that sort of self-doubt, which then transforms into competence, and that was cool. And Eric, to me, just like as someone who got a chance to eat in Ghana for nearly a month, and to see that stuff elevated and to better understand it. I didn't have a food tour guide, and just there's so much great global cuisine, and obviously the influx of sort of Asian cooking in this country in the last 20 years has been incredible. Latin American cooking, particularly regions of Mexico. And to get to see that continent get to show off, because there's just so much food at every corner of that continent, and that was just really cool. So great season. We really always we're going to continue this. My understanding, Tom, as you tell me, as our controller, you were telling me we're going to be doing this in the off season a little bit.
Yeah. I think we're not stopping now. I think the idea is to continue doing episodes, and we'll have a better idea of that, what that looks like soon, and we'll let you guys know. But this is not just going to be a Top Chef recap show, is what we're trying to say. We have some ideas. We'll hammer them down, and we'll try to deliver some really great episodes for you going forward, and not just be a Top Chef recap. I think you and I both, Kevin, we have some ideas or some food rants or some food stories that we'd like to tell. And stick around. And stick around also because we're pretty good at this whole drafting thing, Kevin. We got better this year. We
got a little better, marginally
better. Last year, I ran the numbers, and there was almost zero correlation between where we drafted the chef testants and how many points they had. It was basically random. We were kind of in the right direction. But this season, Kevin, I emailed you earlier with the stats. Our correlation, the R coefficient, was minus 0.10 for this season. That actually is wrong. Actually, we're a little bit stronger. Minus 0.15. No one knows what that means, but it basically indicates that we were a little bit better at prognosticating.
It means we dislodged part of our head from our collective asses.
Yes,
is what we did.
Yes, and we weren't.
But just a little bit, just the crown of the head.
Just the crowning of it, yes. And so let's go through the draft real quick. Natalie, Eddie, Pablo, Nini, Justin, Michelle, David, Eric, Brian, Kelsey, Sarah, Adrian, Brandon, Kevin, Carrie, Brother, Jim, and last but not least, Caitlin was our final draft pick. If you've noticed, the top 4 people, Natalie, Eddie, Pablo, Nini, weren't the strongest. Eddie was coming out of the gates, probably the favorite. But man, look at picks 8 through 12. Eric, as part of the pick swap. You got Eric, by the way. Did you ever realize that you got Eric in the pick swap?
Yeah, that was a good deal.
You got Eric, and then I drafted Brian and Kelsey, and then you picked Sarah, and then I picked Adrian. So 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 was 50 points, 9 points, 96 points, 49, and 25. So the meat, generally speaking, the meat of the draft was really that 8 through 12. And it just goes to show that first episode, we might feel like we have a good handle on things, but these chefs are a lot more dynamic than that, and they had a lot to prove. And I felt like, judging by the draft results, Kevin, this was a pretty surprising season.
Yeah, you just nothing is revealed early. That is the lesson. Tom, until next season, this is a pleasure. And
I can't believe we went to Restaurant Wars.
And we went to Restaurant Wars,
and
that happened. And I look forward to I look forward to drawing up some off-season content with you.
Yes, and Kelsey, congrats on fan favorite. We didn't hit on that in the episode interview, but congrats on that. Congrats on Top Chef. And you know what, Padma, Tom, Graham, Gail, Nilu, if you guys want to come on, or if anyone out there knows them personally, come on the show. We'd love to have you.
Yeah, especially Gail.
Especially Gail. So, all right, Kevin, one final time for this season. Take us out.
Yeah, for Tom Haberstroh, this is Kevin Arnovitz, and this was and is Pack Your Knives.